So, how'd you guys meet?
I think we were at a party, and I knew her friend for a while, but I never met her. And I asked her friend on Snapchat, who's your friend? And then after that, it just went on.
Snapchat. Gotta love it. So, talk to me about this whole asylum situation and how it's planned out. You're an American citizen. What do you think about how she's being treated?
I think it's unfair, but there isn't really much I can do about it, you know? Mm-hmm. But I do think it's unfair, and I think it's not right. I mean, I'm sick, so if she was to leave, I wouldn't have nobody to take care of my son, and while I'm in chemo, and then they said that I might get a transplant, so it's pretty hard, you know. My mom works full time, you know, so it's not like she has time. So I would have to find like babysitters and stuff, and I just honestly don't think it's the right thing. I mean, keep her on house arrest or something, but
what is this doing to your family?
It's tearing us apart. I mean, I would go with her to live down there in Mexico or Texas, whatever, and cross the border. But I mean, like I said, I'm sick. I can't. And she leaving. Like she would leave. She would leave the son with me for a better future for my son. But then again, my son needs her mother, you know. So it's kind of rough.
What does she do as far as helping you with the leukemia?
She goes to my clinic visits. I go every 2 weeks. Before I was getting chemo every 2 days, and I would be there like 5, 6, 7 hours. She helps me to bring me food sometimes, or to call the nurse when I can't, because sometimes the chemo is really strong, so I days off and I can't like visualize the person. So I tell her to go call the nurse when it's having after effects. Bring me food most of all. When I'm here at the house, she makes sure that I'm okay. Like when I'm throwing up and everything, she like helps me, reminds me of my pills. Oh, she cleans my PICC line. My PICC line has to be flushed every day.
Yeah.
Cleaned and flushed every day. If not, it clogs up and you can cause an infection into your main IV. And,
well, with all this that's going on with your leukemia, how much are you able to do with the baby?
I'm not really supposed to do much. I'm not even supposed to pick up my son. But I mean, I try because my son wants to be held. But besides that, I can't do anything. I don't work. I haven't worked since what, January.
So with you not being able to work, has your wife been working, or how do you make it?
Yeah, well, pretty much she works. She does like babysitting or whatever. But
so how is this going to work out in 3 weeks?
I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, we already. She's thing is, she says that she's gonna leave my son, but I mean, like I told her, I was like, what am I gonna do? And the next week, I had this meeting last Thursday. They told me that my chemo's not working, that no matter what the chemo they're gonna do, the little percent I still have cancer, the chemo, they switched it up and it's supposed to be more aggressive. And it's not working at all. So they're telling me that they're gonna do the stem cell transplant. It's the same thing as a bone marrow, but now with the new. And they said in the next coming weeks that I get chemo, but I'm gonna be out about a month and a half.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried about my family getting better, being better actually for my family. That's my main thing, my family.
What happens when she leaves here? Where does she go? How do you contact her?
As soon as like I'm able to go, I'll go down there. But I told her it's probably not gonna be for a good while.
It could be at least a year.
Depending how everything goes, and if I don't reject the bone marrow and if I don't get another infection and stuff like that. And they probably would tell me not to travel, because that's their main thing, not to travel, because I'm more vulnerable to get infections.
So how are you going to make it without her here?
I don't know how I'm going to make it. I really do not know.
How do you make sure your son knows his mom?
I have some photos, but I mean, that's it. Like, he probably won't know until a while. Then probably like a year, probably more.
What needs to change so that this stuff doesn't happen to people like you, your families like you?
I think the law needs to change. I understand that there's some people that are bad. There's some people that do need to leave. But I think there's certain circumstances like mine, and I bet you there's many other families that have the same circumstances that are going through rough times. Because I would say to the people who are doing it, put yourselves in my shoes. Put yourselves in my shoes and I'll be in your shoes.
And you're an American.
Yes, I'm an American.
Born in America.
Yeah.
Some people would say, look, tough. She made a bad choice. She's got to go.
I think everybody makes a mistake. Nobody's perfect. I do think that the mistakes should be punishable. But I mean, I think there's a certain limit that people, okay, you get punished. And I know everybody's done something that they're not proud of, or something a mistake they've done. But not because of that you're just going to judge a person, or, you know, be rough on a person just because of one mistake that they made.
Do you think the punishment fits the crime in this case?
No.
Is this just like a day-by-day thing? I'm really wondering, what do you do over the next 3 weeks knowing that this day is coming?
We try to spend the most time we can with the family. Try not to think about the bad things, and have faith. Most of all, faith. And
have you entertained the thought that Canada is very close? Has there been a point in your relationship, especially now down to crunch time, that was maybe a thought at all?
Yes, we thought about it. She thought about it. She thought about leaving. But, I mean, this is I've lived here all my life, you know. This is my country, you know.
You guys been together for 5.5 years, almost 6 years. You guys are in love. Tell me about the emotion of losing your wife, basically, that even if you do get to see her, it's going to be a couple years from now. Tell us about that emotional draw.
That's probably one of the hardest things that hits me. I have no words, honestly. It breaks my heart.
In a perfect world, what would happen in the next 3 weeks?
Perfect world. There's no perfect world. There is no perfect world. The truth is that in the next few weeks, my wife's gonna be gone. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do with my son. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna do with my sickness. Try to stay strong.